All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to our podcast, 1stGenTalks. Today, we're going to be talking about social media. So, very different to what we have been talking about before. But again, these are just our own opinions. You don't have to listen to us
Yeah.
or agree with us. But yeah, this is a really chill podcast today. It's going to be shorter than the other ones, just, for time's sake. So, yeah. Lalo, do you want to introduce yourself again very quickly? Your year and your major.
I'm Lalo. I'm a third year right now, and I'm a mechanical engineer at the Ricci School of Engineering and Computer Science.
He's
Hi, I'm Lalo. I'm a badass on the side. I'm
what can I say?
like
Literally.
Exactly. Pretty much.
I woke up and it was so cold today.
It is freezing. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. So I've been waking up every morning, right? This quarantine life. I wake up every morning and I go on a run. And this morning I was like, yeah, no. It's so cold.
Yesterday, I did this dumbest thing. I left the window open, and it was open like 4 inches. But like I didn't realize it because I don't move my blinds. I just open the window and it'll cool down my room for me. And I woke up this morning and I was shivering and I was like, why is it so fucking cold? And I walked over to the window and that shit was open all the way. And I was like, God damn it.
Out of the days where it's so cold today.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so I think I want to just ask like the first question. We don't have to get so detailed into it, but just think.
How many Instagram followers do each one of us have? No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, we want to share that. Let's just do a subtle flex. I was just thinking, what are some definitely some pros, but also some cons with social media? Let's talk about that first.
I think the one for me, I've been playing around with the idea of I've been maturing and kind of growing throughout my lifetime, right? And so I used to be super deep into social media, but I think now I've been really grappling with maybe getting rid of my social media. But I always go back to one of the biggest pros about having social media is staying connected, not only with your friends, but family that you have maybe in another country or something, or friends that you might have abroad. So I think for me, that's one of the pros of having a social media. And then it's kind of nice to be up to date with what's happening in the world. I don't sit down and watch the news. So I think social media allows me to kind of scroll. And I mean, don't get me wrong. I think right now is not the best time to scroll through social media, but normally that's kind of where I would get my news or just see what's going on. So I think those are two pros with social media.
Yeah, I think I think the biggest pro is staying connected with family and friends. I know sometimes people could get picked on for always using Facebook and stuff like that, but I think it's such a great thing because for example, my abuelita or my grandma, she lives in California, so the way we stay connected is I message her through Facebook. I don't personally get on Facebook myself and use it a lot. I barely go on there. But I use Messenger, not like that. I use Messenger to just message family members and stuff like that. So I think it's nice because I could still talk to her while not using my actual phone to call her and text, because she does prefer phone calls, but sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't have that time for those 2-hour phone calls.
Yeah.
But it's nice, just to stay connected and just see how your family and friends are doing, because especially I think right now that's one of the biggest pros is with quarantine and everything, it's a nice way to stay connected to everyone. You can use FaceTime, you can use video chat. I know I did a group family video chat on Instagram with some cousins and stuff, so that's nice. I think a con is if you you could definitely get in trouble with social media, and especially with what you post. So just being careful with that. I think a tip I always tell people, especially in the professional side of stuff, to put your stuff on private. I think that's a number one tip. If you're not posting, if you're posting nights out at the club and stuff like that, and that your job's not gonna seeing that, or I think Alfredo, you told me this, no matter who you apply for, they're probably gonna search you up on any social media.
Yeah, or sometimes even I've seen it where people maybe on a committee or just someone might know you and then might already be seeing your social media. I've interviewed people who I have on social media and I'm like, ooh, maybe not the right post you should have posted. So coming back to your point, you're completely right. So something I've been trying to do, I haven't always been the best at social media. So I always type something out and then I delete it and then I retype it to see, okay, does it fit? Or sometimes I type it out, I sit there for an hour and I'm like, okay, did I type that in the heat of the moment? Did I type that because I was feeling some type of ways? Because I feel like when I type in the heat of the moment, that's when I think has gotten me in the most trouble. So, and I think one of the biggest cons too is that social media is behind a screen. So people can be so negative and like so just rude to you
Yeah.
because it's behind the screen and it's not in person. Because I was like, if I was in person, you catch me outside. Because like, you're gonna tell me that in person. Which I think it's like a platform for people to kind of hide behind a screen and be able to be rude or say things that they normally wouldn't say. You know.
Mm-hmm. I think that's so like true. Like cyberbullying has like been a popular thing like with everything that's happening. I think it's so easy. Again, you're behind a screen. I think like another, not a con, but like again like it's very addicting. It's so easy to get addicted.
It takes so much time because it's so addicting.
Mm-hmm.
Every
And
once
like,
in a while, yeah, go ahead.
what were you gonna say?
Every once
Yeah.
in a while, I just like turn off my social media and like I'll throw my phone away. I just don't get anything done. Like I'll be like, let's get to work, and then I'll be like, nah, TikTok, or I'll be like, nah,
Yeah.
let's
Yep.
like, just like fuck it. Like I get bored of one, I go to the other one, and it's like so much
Yeah.
time to be
And
lost.
it's a cycle.
So I think a question for the two of you would be: what platforms do you use, and do you use them all separately, or do you use them all for like certain things?
Do you want to go first, Solo, or is it okay if I go first?
Go ahead.
I use Twitter a lot. I think I didn't use it. So I think most of them. I think I have like Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook. I don't have like a TikTok account. I download TikTok to see the TikToks, but I refuse to like actually make videos because I know I'll be so obsessed with that. But I think I have the majority of like the mainstream like social medias. I really use mostly Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. I think, but Snapchat I use more like to talk to people, like friends wise, and it's so quick and easy to just like send like messages and stuff like that. Instagram I love using as like a Pinterest because I go to the explore page and I love seeing like what comes up in my feed. Like it'll be like fashion, it'll be beauty tips, it'll be like just some random memes that pop up too and stuff. So I love scrolling on there. And then Twitter, I love Twitter. I don't know. I just love like there be some funny things that'll be posted on there, and I just Twitter's the one I get caught up on. Like I could be on there for like an hour straight, just like going through, and like you just fall off on there. Like you could, or not fall off, but you could fall in so easily with like different like people's accounts and stuff like that. And like I don't know. I just love using Twitter personally. But you, Lalo?
I guess I'm still a little bit old school. I still use Facebook.
I thought you were gonna say MySpace. I was like, homie, what?
Nah, I have a MySpace. I probably can't log into it anymore, but I have a MySpace. No, I still use Facebook and Snapchat and Instagram. I like using Snapchat a lot though, because it's just like it's quick.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's fast on there, and like you can just like do things. Facebook is when you like. I would just use it when I'm bored and like I'm trying to see what like stupid things people are saying, but like it's not serious. But everybody always judges me for using Facebook. It's like that's so old, and you don't have a Twitter. I'm like, nah, I don't got a Twitter, but I got a.
I have a
Because no, because I think, sorry, before you go to follow, because I think for me, like I've been using my social media so differently. Like I feel like my Facebook is more for family and staying connected. I feel like my Twitter is where I just go wild and it's really for my friends. You know, Instagram has been something that it's like sharing memories, but I haven't been very active because I felt like I just been needing a social media break. Then I have TikTok, which is more for like my travel stuff. Like every time I travel, I like to post something on there. And then I have okay, this is kind of random, but I've been using Tumblr for Animal Crossing. So I used to like, I had it because of, I had to do a project on there when I was in college, using social media and then with this project. And now I'm like, okay, Animal Crossing, all these codes around there. So I'm just like super deep into Animal Crossing right now. And then I don't really use my Snapchat, to be honest with you all. I am not very active on Snapchat. But I like looking at other people's stories.
I think
Yeah.
that was, oh my goodness, you just remember me. I used to be so obsessed with Tumblr too, but in middle school. And you know how they post those deep quotes and stuff like that? Like I remember seeing those and be like, wow, that's me. Like it's actually like I used to use it for that. But I think like you said, Fredo, like my social medias are catered very differently. Like my Facebook is like mostly for like family and like just like mostly like for my family to keep up with me and stuff. But I have friends on there, but it's more again like I don't rarely post on there. Like it's just very rare when I would.
Yeah.
Instagram, I post a lot like on there, more like for like friends wise, like okay, this is where I have most of my friends. And then like I had Instagram like I think when it first started, like way back in 2012, before it was even like very popular and stuff. And I remember like it being like so different, like again, no stories. When you posted, like, you know, it wasn't like there wasn't like no explore page or anything like that. It was just like I think I follow like 3 celebrities. One of them I'm pretty sure was Rihanna, and I think that's the reason why I downloaded it, to see her pictures. And it was like the old school filters they used to have back then too. So I remember that. And then Snapchat too, I had downloaded it before like it like became very popular and stuff like that. But at first I didn't know what it was. I remember like a friend being like, oh well, you could just send me and another friend a message at the same time and stuff. And I was like, oh, okay. I had an Android at the time, so I was like, oh, I don't have an iPhone, so this is the next closest thing I could do, like in the group chat and stuff. And I think when I went into high school my freshman year, it started getting really popular, and that's when they started. I think my junior year is when they added those filters, and everyone was going crazy because you could do that little rainbow like mouth thing, and like I just remember like it just went like super like popular, I guess, in a way. Like before, it's just crazy to see how over time it has changed. Like a lot of social medias like have changed over time.
Oh yeah. But you had a follow-up question you wanted to ask, Brianna?
Oh, I think I was just gonna ask, like, with social media, which one do you think is the one that you would like, I guess, get more addicted to, and which one you use more, and why? I guess
Twitter.
Twitter.
I think Twitter is my one because one, I don't have any family on there. So I can be or any like people that I like, you know, that are my supervisors or anything like that. So I can go kind of wild on Twitter, and people are just so funny on Twitter. Like I find Twitter so funny and so engaging. So I think Twitter is like my number one thing that I use. I used to say it was Instagram, but I just have not been as active on Instagram for some reason. I just feel like I've been also just needing an Instagram break. And Twitter, I feel like it's just a funny space. Like it's not always serious. It's not always deep. Like it's not always like so again taken so seriously. So I feel like Twitter is that one place where I can go where it's just funny. Like things are fun and funny. Versus Facebook, it's always about politics or just everything else like going on in the world or propaganda. You know, Instagram, I just been taking a break. Snapchat, you know, my Snapchat is so dry. No one Snapchats me anyway. So like, I think Twitter is my like number one thing that I use because it's just comedic. It allows me to just get away for a second without being too serious.
I definitely agree with that. Twitter is so funny. I just like, I know if I want to make myself smile or find something funny to laugh at, I just have to go to Twitter and like look through the feed and just see random memes and stuff. And I follow funny people on purpose because like I definitely want to see like the comedy side of Twitter, because I think again it really depends on who you follow. I think that'll be my next question soon too. Like who is your favorite like people or top people that you follow on your social medias and stuff. But I think like with Twitter, I just follow like people that I know are so funny and hilarious. So it's like it's a good time when I get on there. Again, with Facebook, you can't control like what pops up and stuff like that. People always tend to post like it's not the funniest, but again, like if I have family members on there and stuff like that, I know that they're not gonna be posting like the funniest stuff, like the funniest content.
And I found Facebook. I find with Facebook that as I scroll and I see something that I don't like and I report it or something, or if I like say don't show me this ad again, there's so many ads on there, it keeps popping up for me. So like I feel like literally Facebook is my junk mail, where I'm just getting so much junk, or like my feed is so much junk that I'm like, I'm not even seeing that many people's posts. I'm just seeing so much propaganda or so many companies trying to post on there, and I'm like, okay, this should stop being that much fun, you know?
Yeah, it's like the first 5 posts is something like, okay, my friend or family posted this, and the rest of the stuff, it's like again ads and stuff like that you're just like, wait, why is this popping up? Like I didn't want but yeah, I think I agree with you with the Twitter thing. That one I use the most. And if the second thing I would probably say I use the most is Instagram, but not to post, to mostly look at stories and then the explore tab.
Watch, Lalo's gonna get Twitter after this.
I know, he's like, I'm debating it.
Twitter, he would get so lost on Twitter. But I like the question that you asked. Who do you follow that you actually really enjoy following?
Ooh, let me think.
Whether that be Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Vine, whatever it is.
I love following this one person. I want to find out his username, but it's Jonathan. I think if anyone has seen like his memes, like his vines, his TikToks, his Instagrams, I love his videos. Like it's so funny how he does like, oh, like la quinceañera or like what happens and stuff like. It's just so funny. Like even my mom loves watching those because I showed her one where it was like he talked about how daughters and sons get so treated differently in like Latinx households, and like it just made me laugh because I showed her. I was like, look, and then she laughs because she knows it's true. Like she doesn't agree, like say like it's true, but she's laughing. I'm like, you're finding it funny because you know it's true. But I definitely like watching like those type of comedians, like I guess like Vine stars and stuff. I like following a lot of people who like do a lot of like charity or like post good content, I guess, in a way. Like I don't follow, I'm no judgment if you do, but I don't follow any like the Kardashians or like supermodels and stuff like that, like on purpose too, because I'm like, we already see so much of this. Like I don't want to like, great for them, if they have like the cars and the big house and stuff like that, but like I don't know, I just got like I used to follow, I believe, like Kylie when I was like in middle school maybe and stuff like that. She was starting to get started on like her makeup and stuff like that, but then
Well,
stop.
I remember that she was like the #1 Instagram follower for like a day.
Yeah, and then the egg beat her, I think. I remember that. But no, like I don't follow like any like supermodels and stuff like that, just on purpose for me, just because like I know I already see so many stuff being pushed on like women and stuff like that you gotta look this way and stuff like that. And it definitely doesn't help, when you're seeing them out with the cleavages and stuff. Like, but no shame to them. Like that's, if anyone wants to follow that and stuff, I support it. Like go ahead and do what you want to do. That's like your life and stuff. But personally for me, I just try to avoid stuff like that. So I like following more like accounts that are like focused on like charity and stuff like that, what they do, or like one person that I definitely follow again is like I follow Ellen. I love following Ellen and like seeing the clips of like her shows or like who's gonna be on there, and then she posts a lot of like what goes on like in the world and stuff like that. Not like again like world news, but like she just posts like if anything's happening, like here's this campaign, or like, or not campaign, but like change.com or stuff like that. So,
what about you, Lalo? Who do you follow that you really enjoy?
Well, I just kind of like follow things that I'm interested in. So I'm like very like risk taking and shit like that. So like I'll follow like pages where they post like where there's like a good place to go hike, or like I'm on a bunch of motorcycle clubs that we all have the same motorcycle and we talk about like what you can do to fix up your motorcycle. And then I have like all of my homies are Facebook comedians. So it's cool.
Really?
And they're all just posting memes and stuff. But like I don't like follow like anybody big.
Yeah.
Because it's like I don't relate. Like they're like, so big, like sometimes I just don't relate. But like I can relate to like smaller people, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think the two of you just brought up a point and both your answers. One, like how social media has, or how just society in general has portrayed like the concept of beauty, or the concept of standards, or the concept of what our life should look like, right? Coming back to, people, those hype people on social media have, right, on social media, they have the big homes, the super filters, the looking a certain way. And it's like, I think it's really been impacting, and so many conversations start out too, especially with younger folks or younger individuals coming to college too, of like how negatively social media has impacted the way they see themselves, or the way they see their success, or the way they see their future, because of like, we sometimes when we're young, we say, oh, we want to be like X person who has so many cars, or we want to be like X person who's an actor and so great, so I think there's also this like negative space that social media has created for us, or this negative standard or unrealistic standard for the rest of us.
I think, yeah, like I think a big one we talk about is again like this false expectations of how relationships should be, how beauty should be, and how even in general like who you are and who you post. Because like again, if you're not posting that you have money and cars and stuff like that, like like a lot of these people who are like top, like, followed on Instagram or even just on Facebook and stuff like that, their posts tend to be a lot about like what they have, and what they show, kudos to them. I'm like, that's great. But like, again, it goes into that, like, the society now where you feel pressure, like you gotta show it, like you gotta do this. Like, I know there's like, people out there, like, I have like examples of like relationship ones where there's people who are like, are friends of mine that I know, like, they're in the relationship, their partner like wants them to like post them on social media, but the person's like, well, I don't want to, like, but it doesn't mean I don't love you. But again, it's like, what you learn on social media is like, if you're not posting who you're with, then you're not really with them.
Yeah. I remember even I had a friend who was like, who got so mad at her partner because she's like, look, that my other couple friends are always traveling, they're always doing this, they're always doing that. And then that's not what real life looked like for them. It was just like what you portray on social media isn't always the truth.
And again, like, it's social media, and then like, like, you don't see behind the scenes. It's like what, like, a lot of people don't get. It's like, yeah, they'll post that, like, again, like, no one's really, it's so rare when people will post something bad, like, hey, just got in a car accident, here's my car. Like, no one's gonna really do that. Maybe on Snapchat. I feel like Snapchat, you get more of those sides, but no one's gonna make an Instagram post about like, yeah, I just wrecked my car, like, and then you get like 100 likes on it. But again, yeah, I think it's just like, it's so unfortunate. Sometimes I try to remind myself too, like, hey, those standards sometimes, like, don't bring that into your head. Like, it's so it could be so draining too, because when you're always constantly seeing that, like, oh well, this person has like these 5 cars already at 24,
And I
what's
feel
mine
like,
wrong?
yeah, and I feel like sometimes it just becomes kind of a competition. Like, oh, I have more followers. Oh, I'm in a relationship. Oh, I just got this car. Oh, I just got the house. Like, it's just become such a competition, even amongst each other. When it's like, no, it should really be, yeah, it's great, and we should be supporting one another. But it's just putting these unrealistic expectations of what life should look like. When I don't think life looks like that for any of us.
No. And this is so so childish, but like, when I was in middle school going to high school and stuff, I used to like, I still have like a lot of followers technically, like I know some people that are like, whoa, you have this like many, like, I think I have like 2,000, and then I follow like probably like 400. But like, there was people like back in like middle school. That was because back in middle school and high school, I used to go to these accounts that were like shout out pages, and I'll be like, hey, can you give me a shout? Like, I was so young, like so innocent, and like Instagram wasn't that like big yet. So they'd be like, yeah, we'll share you, just like, make a quick post about us. Like, there was no story, so you had to do the post very quick for a day and then take it down. But I started building up followers and stuff like that, and then it really started getting to my, not my head, but like, I'll be like, dang, like, I do have a lot of followers. A lot of, like, yeah, I would get like a lot of likes, and like, people in middle school, this is like my 8th grade year, like, we're like, oh my god, Brianna, like, you're Instagram famous and stuff. And I was like, yeah, I know, huh? I said it's such a childish story, but I think, like you said, it gets to your head, because then it becomes a competition. Like, I was like, I feel like I was competing, was like, okay, well, she has this many followers, let me get more, or like, I get this many likes, or like, people would be like, dang, like, you got this many likes and stuff like that. It was like so dumb to think about it, but like, at the same time, again, it just becomes that competition of like, well, I have this many. And then towards the end of high school, and then I think the beginning of college, I just stopped posting as much, and like, I didn't even care anymore, because I was just like, I really, at the end of the day, I was like, it's just Instagram. And like, half of the people that did follow me, I was like, were not even genuine. It was just from like follow pages and stuff like that. And like, I took a break for a while. Like, you could see like in somewhere in the middle, like, there's like a year apart in some of my posts, because like, I just didn't really post anymore, and I just got tired of Instagram, and like, I got off of it just because like, I was feeling like, why are you competing? Why are you trying to like make sure you're posting like this stuff? And like, yeah.
I know we wanted to keep this one short, so I think we should. But I want to say, what words of wisdoms do you all have for people that are, either brand new to social media, on social media, or maybe even these middle schoolers going to high schoolers, or high schoolers going to college, about social media? What tips or tricks or words of wisdoms would you give them?
I think if anyone younger than like 18 or 17 even, like, I think definitely the kids in middle school and who are barely like in the beginning of high school, I think parents should just make sure what your kids are seeing, and like, what they are posting and stuff. I know from like personal experience, like, I've had like family members, like little cousins and stuff like that, even my brother, like, they'll they'll download like an Instagram or like a TikTok. Like recently it's been TikTok, and then they post videos of them like just doing the dances and stuff. But like again, like they're not in private, and they were starting to get these messages in their comments of like, oh, where do you live and stuff like that. So just being careful with that, because like to someone who's so young, it's like easy to be like, oh well, I live here, like because you don't think bad of it. But I definitely think like, you know, if you are someone who's older and stuff, like just watch out for those who are younger. Or even like if it's not in your family, like I know if I'm like on like TikTok or like just in other like Facebook or whatever in general, and I see like a younger kid posting, but if I see those inappropriate comments, I would like report like, you know, anything like that kind of, you know, activity and stuff, because it's like so unfortunate like to see that kind of stuff. It's so easy to, you know. But definitely like there are some pros to it. Like don't forget, like don't, I know there's a lot of people who are like, I hate social media, it's so toxic and stuff like that, but I think just don't make it a toxic environment either. Like just try to stay away from like those type of things that we talked about earlier, you know, those accounts. Being careful to what you post. I think that's just such a big one, because like one post can literally like get
Ruin you.
you ruin you, yes, like and just please be careful. And then for everyone who's older, like in college, when you are under the influence of anything, log off or delete your apps for the night. I think that's such a big one, because you start to post a lot of not the best content, or even just stuff in general like that. But I think that's one tip. And then yeah, just being conscious of what's on your feed. And you know, there's nothing wrong if you do use Facebook or if you use Twitter, or if you want to use one social media, that is totally fine. You do not need to like be a part of everyone else and like feel like you have to download Snapchat now. Like that Snapchat's not your cup of tea, don't feel like you have to do it.
What about you, Lalo?
I mean, I just kind of use it to like see what's up, but like I've never been too big on like the flexing on social media. So like I guess just like try to, like everybody goes on there and flexes like that one time they went on vacation and they posted like for 5 times a year, and it's like, bro, nobody gives a shit. Like stay genuine, you know what I'm saying? Like I barely be posting to Instagram. Like literally before like 2 weeks ago, last time I posted was like a year ago. I just have it to follow people and stuff. Just watch what you do and stuff like that. Cause I mean, it's still part of your image, even though it's like a different side.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I've never been one to like everybody who's trying to flex, and like I don't think much people do. You know what I'm saying?
No, no, and I think you made the both of you made a really good point of like social media is a part of who you are, or a part of who you want to be. So like just always be careful. I think my word of advice is just like what what the two of you are saying. Like social media represents a lot of who you are, or who you think you want to be, or who you think you are, right? But I think it always has consequences. So just double check before you hit that send button, double check before you hit that post button, because I've seen so many people, and myself included, get in so much trouble for posting something that maybe it wasn't the heat of the moment, or maybe they just did it to be funny, but it was taken in the wrong context. So just be careful with social media. It doesn't matter your age. But I do also like the point that you made, Brianna, of like, I think there is such a thing of too young for being social media. I know one of my young nieces who is 17 now, but she wanted a Facebook so bad since she was 14, and we waited till she was 16 to make sure she had one. So, you know, I like everything you are saying. So I think just, again, be careful with social media. So many negative things can happen if you're not careful. So just be careful.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we'll end it off here. Let us know if you ever have any questions and stuff. And next week's topic, we'll see who else will join us. And
What's next topic?
I think it might be summer ideas or plans, or it might be. Sorry, let me check one quick second.
You're good. Sorry for asking.
No, you're
I want to get myself mentally prepared.
no, you're good. I think okay. Next week is about so we're getting into role models and inspirations. So
I love that. That's a good theme. I love that. Okay.
I'm ready for it. All right, everyone. Well, have a good day. Let's go ahead and wave off. Bye, everyone.